Good afternoon. I'll just turn the volume down a little. Good stuff. If you went +1 leads, which I decided to do, got Red Star involved as well. 3-1. Coventry win, having missed a penalty as well. Fat Frank will not like that. So not sure how many of you will turn up. No live stream tomorrow. I have my nephews visiting, and one of them's going through a bit of a tough time, teenager. So I'd like to spend some time with him. He's interested in music, and I've got FL Studio, so we'll be showing him how to mix some tracks and all the rest of it. So I'm just going to make sure I'm not talking to myself. Let's just get the YouTube channel up. So it's a nice bit of profit to add on to the two English sides who performed so well in Europe midweek. Excellent to see Rasmus Højlund come on. He was the key to success. Right. Get a shareable link. No, let me just get this up and then get to this link here, and off we go. Hello, Stephen, and hello, Trevor, and hello, Robert. I'm in the UK now, Robert. I don't know where you are. In the UK till about the 10th of January. So welcome. Hope you made some early profits. The thing about the Leeds match is it's very difficult to go for the Leeds win, wasn't it? But my hands are tied. If you're willing to take the small loss on the +1, great. Grenoble and Red Star, you can see Grenoble lighting it up now. Now, I've mentioned this to you before, top up. Hopefully, you had the nous to do it yourself. Initial, back Grenoble at 21, lay Red Star at 1.2. 3-0 up, lay Red Star at 105, back Grenoble at 100. An extra £3 for an extra 100 and an extra about 50 or so. Okay, 3-1, and you can see Grenoble's in-play stats starting to light up. This side are going to be very worried indeed. Conceding 3 here, 2 here, 3 here. Grenoble against sides below them in the league, albeit at home. 3 goals scored here, 3 here, 4 here. Very exciting if you've got on at 3-0. I didn't remind you. I hope you picked that up yourself, particularly those of you who attend the live stream regularly. You know, I call it averaging up. So strap yourselves in. Afternoon, Paul. Nice to see you. And thanks for your little hint about checking teams out. This is what Paul's talking about. When you, for example, French Ligue 2, you can check out the over 2.5 goal sides in 4 different formats. Total, you can put it in alphabetical order, or you can put it in strong order. Rodez, 69% overall. So 7 out of 10 of their matches finish over 2.5 goals. You can look at the last 8, so you can look at recent performances as well. You can see Lorient, top of the pile there with 75% in their last 8 matches. So if you want to catch the momentum, that's your stat. Home for the home side, of course, and you can see Rodez again topping the pile. So you don't have to be Wayne Rooney football genius to suspect that any Rodez match will have a really good chance at overs. Away from home, who tops the pile here? Amiens. And Grenoble playing today away from home. 57% overs. So let's just hope we get a 3-1. Mönchengladbach have already scored against Holstein Kiel, which is a pity. Holstein Kiel eminently gettable today. By the way, sportsfeed24.com. This looks to be an excellent resource if you want to watch the football. I haven't spotted any continuous ads or any of those annoying links just yet, but they're likely to be there somewhere. That's the way these people make their money. An excellent feed. I can't show you it, of course, on YouTube because of copyright issues. Well done to Coventry, 2-1. Late Leeds equaliser. We should have laid Preston really in the match odds late on, shouldn't we? Very, very late. and it's an own goal for Watmore, but it was thoroughly deserved by Leeds. But that's the beauty of doing your research, particularly at this stage of the season. Preston North End 0-0, 0-0, 0-0 against the top 5. You were warned. Fat Frank will be delighted. Missed penalty as well. Only the 2 shots for Hull was the reason I got involved there. Let me just tidy some of this up, and then we can have our first look at the in-play stats, which have been excellent today so far, and have been excellent yesterday. Karlsruhe, I hope you didn't have any problems with any voided bets if you've got involved there. I complained to Betfair because they voided bets between a certain time period, and mine was placed about a minute afterwards, and they gave me my full profit, which it was an insurance play, so I was losing on the deal, even though they won 4-2. So it pays to complain. Don't forget, they're just humans. It's not automated software where they 100% never make a rick. So if you spot it, complain. It was resolved very quickly and I got my money back, so that's excellent. So in future, if you get any voided bets, double check that. First time it's ever happened to me, to be honest. Espanyol and Osasuna, 18th in the league. Espanyol, no wonder it's 0-0. They are desperate for points. It's not really one top of my list at all. Rizespor and Konyaspor, 1.95 favourite. In-play stats have me interested, but it's a little lukewarm at the moment. You can tell by the momentum. We're just waiting for that 3-2. Is it going to come? Is it going to come nice and early enough to put the Frighteners up Red Star? If you didn't get involved, you might want to have a little bit of a tickle. The odds are very, very short indeed. And this lot are newly promoted and 17th in the league, i.e. they are having trouble. And it's Inspector Poirot is, with his massive moustache, is their manager. So fantastic stuff for Red Star. Fatih Karagümrük and Boluspor, Turkish 1 League. I think we could take that off the watch list. Now we've got the German Bundesliga on board. And indeed, Atalanta away at Cagliari. No Champions League next week. No Europa League next week. But there is Europa Conference League next week. I don't expect to have any hiccups from any of the big names. So that means there's a potential today for Aston Villa to go back to 2-goal scoring ways. So we'll look on that with interest. Hello, Colin. Nice to see you. Let's get back and get ready for the Bundesliga. So I'll just work my way through initially. Thailand, of course, they are by far the greatest team the world has ever seen. I have to say that because it's part of my visa conditions. Doing a job against Malaysia, as I'd expect. I'll probably go and watch that one at Raja Mangala, which is in the middle of Bangkok. I've been there to see Barcelona, been there to see Liverpool pre-season, Liverpool Man U last year under Den Haag, or the year before. Been there to see Chelsea, been there to see Leo Messi training. So Raja Mangala holds some great memories. Great for pre-season. Italian Serie B, probably get onto the back burner today with elite football. And I want to just pick out the best plays rather than the usual hectic session. So let's see if we can relax, pick out the better quality plays, try to keep our liabilities low, like we're doing with Red Star. We've got a good chance as well. Plenty of time left. Just need that second goal. Frosinone Sassuolo, 1.83 away favourite. Sassuolo have impressed. Both sides have been recently in Italian Serie A. Sassuolo more so than Frosinone. Putting together a good set of results. So keep an eye on that one. 1-1. Well, it's an equaliser for Sassuolo, so that's an opportunity missed by me earlier on. I was watching the Leeds match. Lokomotiv Zagreb and Dinamo Zagreb. No excuses for DZ today. They are favourite, but Lokomotiv Zagreb, it is a Zagreb derby, of course, and you know what I think about derbies. The form lines can be thrown out of the window. Let's just get rid of a few of these and work our way down. Portuguese Secunda, don't have a strong opinion. 2.4 the favourite, so 2-0 is not really in keeping with that. Neither is the in-play stats, which are suggesting a very tight match indeed. Sorry, have to up my cup of tea intake to stay warm. I think I'll focus more on the elites today rather than the second tier. And talking of the elites, 8 minutes in, Bayer Leverkusen against Augsburg. No excuses for Bayer today. There's no European football next week. Union Berlin and Bochum Dano, odds-on favourite at home. Mönchengladbach already have the lead against Holstein Kiel. It's absolutely no surprise at all. Holstein Kiel highly likely to be relegated straight back down. Let's get rid of the Welsh Premier League and tighten the ship. Mainz against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Well, Mainz at their best have 3 goals. Let's have a quick look. As long as Soccer Stats don't start putting all this membership stuff up to block me. Getting away with it at the moment. And Lorient scored first against Paris FC. That's no great surprise. No, it's a Paris FC red card. So that's inconsequential. They're already 1-0 down. I'll just show you this Mainz goal scoring, which might interest you as far as taking on any 2-0 lead, perhaps, for Bayern Munich. We played it. I told you about it here. And what a recovery, really. A superb match. 3 here, 3 against Dortmund. They do have 3 goals in them. So watch out today. We might see a very interesting match here, particularly with this lot conceding 2 against Heidenheim recently. But again, there's no Champions League, so Bayern Munich might overperform today without that problem on their back. No defeat in 13, scored in the last 13. But Mainz have scored 2+ goals in the last 4 and in the last 2 at home. It's going to be a fascinating match. Hopefully, I would take on a 0-2 lead. But as you can see with Mainz, it's quite obviously struggles against the top 10. That Dortmund match notwithstanding, but that's a very recent match as well. So that might be a signal that they can score goals. Look at that. 3 against the Wolf, 3 against Dortmund, 3 against Stuttgart, 3 against Augsburg, St. Pauli, Holstein Kiel. Really good, consistent goal scoring. But of course, if you want consistent goal scoring, you've got Sir Harry of Kane playing for Bayern Munich. So we'll watch that one with interest. Elsewhere, well, we're just going to be waiting for the 3 o'clocks, aren't we? English Championship. So let me just do a little bit of housekeeping in preparation for the 3 o'clocks. Collect your odds on favourites to start with. You're going to have to be howling mad Murdoch to be backing Red Bull Salzburg today. Yet another side having real struggles with this new-found Champions League. Bochum have been red-carded against Union Berlin. So we'll keep an eye on the reaction from Union Berlin. Only 13 minutes in, so that opens the door up for a possible half-time play. While we've got the German Bundesliga up here, we can have a quick look at the form lines, see if Union Berlin, 11 against 11, are able to score before half-time. So let's have a quick look at Union Berlin against Bochum. Where is it? All the way down here, I think. View stats and matches for both teams. Well, Union Berlin, when you have form like this, or a lack thereof, it's a bit like last season. Was it Union Berlin last season as well? Started awfully. And then the market had them as odds-on favourites and they started winning. So desperate need for points, but far better at home, must be said. All of that red, predominantly away from home, just the 1 loss, and against Bayer Leverkusen. So it's no great panic. I do think they will take advantage of this. Failing to score 4 of the last 6. Bochum, red card now. Union Berlin, desperate need for a win. I think we've got a good chance here. Conceded in the last 13 as well, Bochum. Mid-table mediocrity, really, for Union Berlin, but a 3 out of 3 win rate against 14th and lower. 3 out of 3 wins against 7th and lower at home as well. Don't tend to concede that second goal, albeit just Leverkusen at home. Bochum, well, it's either going to be a 1-0 loss or they're going to concede at least 2 goals. You'd be going for the latter as well today, logically, wouldn't you? So let's collect our odds on favourites. Howling Mad Murdoch, if you're backing this lot at 1.25, wouldn't be touching them with stolen money. And there's the first goal for Bayer Leverkusen. Back up and at them 14 minutes in. So let's see if we can do some of these over 2.5 goal plays as well today. We keep an eye on Dinamo Zagreb. They are odds-on favourites. Istra, odds-on favourites. And Dukla Prague, newly promoted, targetable, but they didn't score first today, which was a pity. Slovan Liberec, Banik Ostrava, odds-on. Collect your odds-ons. That way you can look and react. And it's 3-1 now to Lokomotiv Zagreb. So that's why I tell you about derby-style matches. They can be tough to unpack. Odds on Arsenal, odds on Liverpool. I think Newcastle are far too short for me. But it is new manager syndrome for Leicester City and Ruud van Nistelrooy. And it's a real pattern you're seeing under Ruud, isn't it? I don't know for how long they can keep this pattern up. It's getting out of jail pattern. West Ham, though, did help them massively by bringing on Mr. Magoo and Stevie Wonder's second half, and Jimmy Somerville, I think, not C. Somerville, Jimmy Somerville from Bronski Beat, because they were awful. They could have scored an absolute bucket load, but late goal. This is going to be a pattern you're going to be seeing under Ruud van Nistelrooy. Late. Yes, only 2 matches played, so let's not get too ahead of ourselves. But against Brighton, a comeback from 0-2 down. So have that in mind, particularly if Newcastle are only leading. 86th minute, Jamie Vardy. 91st minute, De Cordova-Reid. So I think Ruud has instilled a little bit of belief to go for the full 90 minutes. That looks to me far too short, particularly with the recent 3-3 for Newcastle at home as well. But we shall see. New manager syndrome could instill some real changes, but these 3 are being shortened by Bet365. Don't always get it right, of course. This is a relegation 6-pointer, Wolves against Ipswich. Wolves are one of the best over 2.5 goal sides. Thanks to Paul's idea here, I can now check by teams, and you can see top of the pile pretty much will be Wolverhampton Wanderers and Brentford. 80% overs all season. Quite astounding. Last 8 for Wolves, 88%. So they've got the form coming into this. But the problem is Ipswich are a little bit lower on 38%. So this being a relegation 6-pointer as well, it might be a cagey affair. I don't know if Wolves are at home today. Let's just double check that. They are at home. So you can check Wolves at home. And again, they're near the top, 86%. Ipswich away are on about 57. So you'll be reliant more on Wolverhampton Wanderers today if you're going for an over 2.5 goal play. But certainly if this is 0-0 at half time, backing over 1.5 goals second half would seem like a logical choice. This could be big odds for Aston Villa if they carry on their 2-goal habit under Dick Emery. Nottingham Forest will be over-reliant on Chris Wood yet again. It's probably a derby-style match, isn't it? Middle of England, the Midlands, I think, derby. So it's going to be a fascinating match. Will Villa score those 2 goals that they have been targeting under this new manager? Odds on Bristol City 1-1 against QPR, absolutely bossed. Well done to Coventry and well done to Leeds. We should have piled in with that Leah Preston late on. But when I'm already involved, I tend to forget to get involved again. Sheffield United look to have an easy encounter against Wayne Rooney, football genius, who's likely to be heading into the jungle soon because he certainly can't manage any football teams. That's for sure. Thankfully, his wife is making him a bit of cash. Poor love. So he won't starve. And by the look of him, he certainly won't starve. There is the Sumo Championships coming up in London. I think Wayne might be training for that. Birmingham, odds on. Huddersfield, odds on. Peterborough have been a little bit hit and miss in the last couple of weeks, particularly odds on. They're normally reliable, but they had a recent 0-1 defeat. So got to be a little wary with them. In-play stats will reveal which borough turns up today. Rotherham odds on, Wycombe Wanderers and Wrexham. So this is my way of dealing with English League 1, English League 2 when I don't research. For example, Tranmere odds on. Did Harrogate score first? And if they did, that would have been a potential angle. Indeed, they did. Jay Daly, and we get a quick equaliser for Tranmere. So that's why this is a good exercise. I wouldn't have known which of these teams would be odds on favourite today, but the market's giving us an idea. Let's work on that and then see what happens. These kind of matches, 2.6 the favourite, you're going to be reliant purely on in-play stats because the market makers can't split these two teams. So it makes it really hard pre-match to determine which of these is fancied. In-play stats will reveal all. Marseille against Lille. No, they haven't. They've shortened. Lens are away. That's the only odds-ons. Odds-ons in French Ligue 2? No, but let's just... Well, we were hoping that Grenoble would get that second goal as their pressure suggested they would, but could be an important win for Red Star. Likely not to stop them. Union Berlin, just keep an eye on the in-play stats while I'm doing this. If you see them lighting up, you've got the potential to get involved in a half-time market there. Bayern Munich and Mainz could have a surprise on our hands if Mainz really ignite today. Bayern, Borussia Mönchengladbach, an obvious odds-on favourite against struggling Holstein Kiel. This is going to be fascinating later on, St. Pauli and Werder Bremen. The market is giving St. Pauli, the newly promoted side, a chance here. Have a mental support at home, and really, is it the St. Pauli Stadium, the one with that old World War II bunker behind it? I think it might be. So if so, it's a hell of a place to visit. Darmstadt a bit later on against Kaiserslautern. Odds-on favourites Hamburg, red-carded against newly promoted Ulm. So Ulm will be delighted, really, to get something out of this match. Greek Super League, Atromitos. And there we got a very, very interesting start to Union Berlin, Bochum Dano. Uh-oh. I don't think we'll get much value out of this with that red card in play, but we can break off and have a quick look. How do we play this to create some value? If we can lucky enough to get evens or above for Union Berlin and match odds, well, we're not. It's 1.71. The only way you'll get evens will be to delay until about half time and hope that it remains 0-1. Laying over 1.5 goals, of course, going to be well worth your while. +1's going to be far too skinny because the red card is keeping the odds low. You can see there. It's almost an inevitability about the Union Berlin equaliser. So that's factored into everything. Now, if you find a little bit of value, well, it's gone down markedly now from 1.7 a second ago, hasn't it? There's very little value to be had, isn't there? Unless you go all stake in to Union Berlin, all stake, rather than splitting and having a bid on the draw. And you can take the insurance out to cover that 0-1. Half-time markets probably will provide us with something. Half-time score, it's £473 matched, so we're not going to get much value out of this. I tend to like to do 1-1, which tends to be at 3 or higher ordinarily, but this is a totally illiquid market. 2-1 at sevens, and even any unquoted here would enter the equation. If this market is illiquid, we can always have a look here. That to me is relatively high, considering the goal has been scored against 10 men. So if you see a little bit of value like that, lay the under 2.5 goal market. That looks a good value, doesn't it? Even if it doesn't come in, it presents, I think, a 5-1 return. So just something like that. Dip your toe in. Don't overextend. That's about a 5-1, isn't it? 7-35, about 5-1. That looks very good. We've already got 1 goal in, haven't we? 1.5 goals Well, I'm just going to stay at 2.5. I think we've already got the 1 goal in, which makes this remarkable. So yes, 25 minutes gone, but there's still 20 minutes to go. Pretty much the whole of the half to go. Augsburg have equalised against Bayer Leverkusen, so that could be a vulnerable draw at some point. Hope you're all okay. Kane is out injured, says Stephen. Thank you very much, Stephen. That could increase our interest in any potential Mainz comeback today. So I'll be looking on that with great interest to see whether we can get a surprise result for Mainz today. So where are we? We're with that Union Berlin. Any other ways to find value? What do you think? Wait for this to get to evens. It's going to take a while. It's stuck. It went from 1.7. It's going to be stuck here for quite some time, I would suggest. The red card is going to keep the odds honest. Augsburg goal has been disallowed. So all I can see really is first half goals 2.5 with 1 goal already scored. Remarkable odds, to be honest, with 20 minutes to go. Value is in the eye of the beholder. The longer it stays at 0-1, the lower these odds will get, and the lower the liability and the bigger the return. So up to you. 1.5 goals could interest, but it's only evens, so you're getting your liability. You have to think about that. It's going to be 1-1, so that doesn't come in. That could be a little worrisome. So yeah, interesting. I don't think we're going to have any chance of this touching evens at all. If you wanted to play, this is what I would suggest in the match odds now. Laying over 1.5 goals, of course, costs you next to nothing. That covers possibility of Bochum holding on for a 0-1. However, impossible or improbable that might be. But don't forget Valladolid yesterday, down to 10 men, 1-0 up, held on against Valencia. So, yes, Valencia were also bottom 2, but still, it is doable. And you'd have to just go straight match odds and hope for the best. Okay. I normally like to cover that draw, but the market is telling us the equaliser looks inevitable. 1.18 for Union Berlin +1, which is Union Berlin and the draw at 1-5. So that's you get a reasonable return, but you have to stay in and hope that they score 2 consecutive goals. Bochum goal might be a surprise penalty or an own goal. No, Sissoko. So fair enough. Ibrahima Sissoko. Oh, well done. Let me just carry on with my odds-ons. Cagliari have kept Atalanta quiet in the first half. I wonder if they can do so second half. Let's just investigate that match. It's best to use Soccer Stats for the research at this stage of the season, if they still allow us in. He put up a membership thing a few days ago, 60 quid or something for the year. If we can get a workaround, or if we just keep ads going, hopefully they'll allow me to still watch. Cagliari's record, it's only 3 wins all season. Atalanta are on an impeccable run, scoring 2+ goals in every single win. How about their second half goal scoring? Well, look at the 2 goals against Roma in their last away match, 69th and 89th minutes. Zaniolo just adding a little extra there with an 89th minute goal. Lookman has been superb. And Holstein Kiel have a goal back against Mönchengladbach, but no real play there. Lookman again. Got to make sure Lookman's playing, I think, today. He looks to be a key player for Atalanta. I would expect a second half goal from Atalanta today. They've unbeaten in 10. No draw in 9. And you know what? Of course, 0-0 is a draw, isn't it? 9 consecutive wins, scoring in the last 12. This is defence against attack. I suspect the in-play stats will agree with me. 15th against top. Wow. So that's an incentive if there was one. Antonio Conte's Napoli is breathing down their necks. Losses, well, we know Torino are ultra defensive, so that's not a great surprise. Catch Torino on one of their ultra defensive days. They got a 0-1 yesterday, typical of them. And Como, I would put that down to the enthusiasm of the newly promoted side. Probably an early season loss, that one. Up here, 24th of September. That's Como just grabbing a little bit of enthusiasm early season, and that's obviously going to wane, alas, as they work their way through and they find themselves fourth bottom. So this looks good second half goals, though. Let's just check those out. Cagliari at home do look vulnerable second half. 4-3, 7 goals conceded between the 46th and 75th minute at home. Looking at Atalanta's goal scoring away from home, it looks it's pretty much consistent, isn't it? It's 50-50 both halves. So they'll be confident. If they don't score first half, they'll score second half. They've got a 50-50 record of that all season. So that's one to target. I'm not enjoying laying the draw these days because it's a full liability second half. I haven't found an alternative to that. And when they don't come in, it's a bit of a big hit. Looking at the in-play stats, well, this isn't quite what I expected, is it? 4 shots on target for Cagliari, 1 shot off target and 1 corner. No shots on target for Atalanta. I did say defence v attack. We're going to have to see an improved Atalanta performance second half. It has all been Cagliari at the moment. But certainly we're expecting second half goals for this Atalanta. I don't know if you fancy a 0-2, given the fact they're scoring 2 goals so often. Rotherham have scored first against Northampton. We've got, note they're not come up on our odds-on list. This is an odds-on list. Probably, I think Slovan Liberec will be the odds-on favourite. Yes. So, no great surprise for me, this one. This is why we do our odds-ons. Well, they were odds-on earlier on, but they've drifted a tad. That's why they're on my list. Rotherham and Northampton. That's just come up with 1-0. Who's the odds-on favourite? Looks like Rotherham are the odds-on favourite. So no great surprise there against Northampton. Okay, those are the odds-ons at the moment. And there's a goal from Union Berlin. Now, you see the just wonderful value about, well, now you've got this. So £3.20 insurance. You could get out just now if you wanted to, but quite obviously you're going to be staying in, aren't you? 2.5 goals. Again, risk reward. £6.84 produces £8. Double that, you double that, but you double the risk. Wasn't that extremely good value? Remarkable that you could get those kind of odds. 1.19 in a red carded match. Take these risks and profit from them. You could cash out now, of course. You could take that 8 now. Take that 10 now. You're on 18 quid. Take away your insurance of 3. It's a nice 15 quid. And we're only 33 minutes in. Add that on to your Coventry from earlier on. And if you were wise enough to lay Preston North End as late as possible, well done for that one. I actually went +1 in the end for Leeds, but I didn't want to pass that on to you because there's just no value. But those 0-0s for Preston North End, really haunting, weren't they? So carry on with my odds-ons. Keep picking them up. You can see the usefulness already, can't you? Juve against Venezia. Missed the research on that, sorry, so I can research that in play for you once I've done this exercise. Now we know Cesena are odds on. If this was 0-0, it might be worth investigating, mightn't it? I like Sassuolo this season, newly relegated and indeed looking like one of those sides who can dominate. PSV Eindhoven, no excuses today. Feyenoord, no excuses. No European football next week unless they're involved in the Conference League. Slask Wroclaw, odds on. Anyone else for anybody else? University Craiova. I would do all of these leagues. If it's liquid enough, if there's a good enough set of in-place stats, off we go. Birmingham City have scored first against Bristol Rovers. Are they on the odds-on favourite list? I thought they were. Ross County scoring first against Hibernian. They were just about to be starred. Now that's one we can investigate. I wouldn't have known Hibs were odds on today. Why are Hibernian odds on? Let's look at that after I've done this. So get the Hibernian matchup. In-place stats is your first port of call. So let's go off to Scotland. Hibernian and Ross County. That's the first match of interest to investigate. Why are Hibs odds-on favourite? Is there anything in Ross County's play recently which suggests that they could get one over them? So let me finish my odds-on exercise. So that's one to look at. Also, when an underdog scores particularly early, just check out the type of goal it was. It will tell you here, penalty, own goal, that kind of thing. All of the other two matches look very difficult. Swansea have scored first against Sunderland. It's not come up on my odds-on list, so it looks like that could be a tight enough match. Scottish Championship, I might have a look at. Falkirk would be the only ones, but they've taken the lead already. La Liga. Tough coupon in La Liga. 2.6 the favourite. 2.63 the favourite. Very, very difficult match. Pair of matches. So my advice, be disciplined. Don't play what you can't read. Or 2.6 the favourite is just telling you you must go match odds. Real Madrid, of course, against Rayo Vallecano. Should be an easy encounter for Real today. No reason to rest any of the big names. There's no European football next week. I'm going to have to double check that because the Conference League is on. Arsenal about to begin have been absolutely outstanding. I really like Arteta's management style and his creativity as well. Women's Champions League is on. I don't think the men's is on. French Liga, Spanish La Liga, English League Cup, Coppa Italia. So it looks like a cup week upcoming. Thursday, he's got the Europa Conference League. So just watch out for these teams. Any familiars? Well, Chelsea can field a whole new 11. They're likely to take Shamrock to town. This is going to be very, very short odds indeed. Djurgården, we know them. Noah is going to part the arc. Hearts playing, I think, this weekend. So we've got a lot of familiar names. Larne from Northern Ireland should be targetable. So a lot of familiar names from last week. So watch out for these teams. They've got a match last week, break, no break, league, and then a match this week. Fiorentina, 7-goal haul. Guimarães, full of goals as well. That's going to be a brilliant match. I wouldn't mind a ticket for that one. Should be a nice, exciting goal fest. League Cup, Tottenham against Man U. So there's no European football, so no excuses. Spanish La Liga 2. Castellón. Why are they short price favourites? Not heard of this lot, but we can investigate. Luzern, Sion, Basel. Turkish Super League, Alanyaspor. And I think we're just getting to the peripheral leagues now as we work our way down. You're not missing any goals, by the way. I will alert you. And those of you who want to have a look, go to Soccer Stats for the Hibernian match. Why are they odds-on favourite? Is there a reason? Are Ross County struggling? Sheffield Wednesday have scored first against Oxford, and as you can see, it's not an odds-on favourite match. It's not come up on that little box, as you can see. To work our way down, Premier League 2. Guess what? What do you see there? Over 2.5 goals. Over 2.5 goals. Over 2.5 goals. You get the idea with that. Problem with these leagues is it's factored in. You're going to get 1.29 pre-match, which means you've got to be creative if you want to play. Middlesbrough scored first against Millwall. That's not a great surprise. We know Middlesbrough are chock full of goals this season against the right teams. So we're working our way down, and we'll soon have this done so we can return to the in-play stats and see how the Bundesliga is getting on. Not many goals coming in there at the moment. Liga Ha'al. Beta Jerusalem odds on. I do like All Hail to the Ale. Hapoel Beersheva tend to deliver. And we've got a possible upset at Anfield. 11 minutes in, Fulham have scored first. Guess who scored against Bayern Munich? And now we know, thanks to Stephen, that Sir Harry of Kane is absent. So we're going to have to think again about whether we get involved. Mainz and Bayern. This will be an in-play stats one. I wonder who's taking over Harry's role. We'll have to have a look on the team sheet. So Middlesbrough, Millwall, I would suggest Middlesbrough are the odds-on favourite here. We can just do a double check. Liverpool and Fulham, likely the only way you'll get value there is via the half-time market, I would suggest. Who's the odds-on favourite here? Likely to be Middlesbrough, 1.62. So no surprise there. We know Liverpool 1.29. We know Bayern Munich are odds on. But we also know that Mainz, on their day, have 2+ goals in them. So the Liverpool-Fulham match is quite an obvious choice, isn't it? But the problem is, where are we going to find any value? We're not going to get evens about Liverpool in the match odds. If we do, I'd snap that off straight away. Fulham's record at Anfield is awful. Sporting Lisbon, managerless pretty much. I wouldn't be backing them at 1.13. They've wheels have fallen off since Amorim left. Scottish League One, I wouldn't be playing. It's too illiquid, which is a real pity. And we're likely to end up now with Turkey, and that'll be it for Christmas. Here we go. And that'll be the day done. We've got all of our odds-ons ready. And we can go back and we can look at these matches which have potential shock results. So that's my odds-on list. It's into the My Games facility. Make sure this is on. And you will hear a sound when an odds-on favourite goal has been scored. So let's look. We've got plenty to investigate. So let's just go match by match. I wouldn't be rushing in with Hibs. As you can see, they've not had a shot on target, shot off target or corner just yet. Sassuolo could surprise us with a goal second half. You can see them lighting up. And again, like Atletico Bilbao, like Fiorentina, they are a side that I just latched onto this season. Tends to be the pattern every season, tends to be different sides that just catch the eye. Sassuolo, for me, have, again, touching the old W's throughout. Let's go to the English Premier League and check out Liverpool against Fulham. 1.67 again. How do we attack this match? It's very difficult to, isn't it? I don't know what to do. So I'll have to... You can either sit on your hands and wait for Liverpool to get to evens, or you can go into the half-time market. It's one or the other. The other match was Bundesliga, Mainz against Bayern Munich. So we're just going to keep an eye on Bayern Munich. I just want to have a look at the Bayern Munich team sheet. Who has taken over Harry Kane's role? So we're going to go for Wickham. That's not a surprise, so we don't play that one. Bayern Munich. Let's have a look at the lineups. Oh dear. This bloke's older than Joe Biden. Muller. Really not an adequate replacement for Harry Kane at all. How they got him on with his walking sticks and his wheelchair, I don't know. The nurse will have to be with him as well throughout the match. Really poor replacement for this size of a club. Yeah, so that is a real problem. Ipswich have scored first against Wolves. we know Wolves are a very, very solid over 2.5 goal side. Odds on favourite today. It is a relegation 6-pointer, but they can't be trusted, can they? Huddersfield and Lincoln. Who's the odds on favourite here? We've got a possible play there, so that's going to go into the shortlist. That's English League One. Huddersfield against Lincoln, but first port of call will be the Liverpool match. Huddersfield against Lincoln, English League One. I can't see it. Here it is. So I'm just going to mark that one up. You can see we're getting evens about Huddersfield, but let's have a look at that Liverpool match. Any value, the only real port for us to look at would be the half-time markets. Again, we're suffering. Or have we got that? Is this 2-0? I'm not sure what's happened here. Let's just let the market reform. It's a red card for Liverpool. It's a red card for Liverpool. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to lose the match. And it's all dependent on who's been red carded as well. Is it a player on the pitch or a player off the pitch? So let's have a look at that. Robertson, Andy Robertson. So interesting. I would be keeping an eye on this. We're certainly not going to get involved now, of course, but Liverpool could just be one of those sides, like Arsenal. You wouldn't be deserting Arsenal when they're down to 10 men. They have a specific way of playing 10v11, which they practice. That could be the same for Liverpool. So keep an eye on the Liverpool in-play stats, but I'm not going to be trusting them with a goal before half-time. And if they equalise, so be it. I would prefer any team I support to have 11 players. If you want a little bit of value, Lokomotiv Zagreb against DZ. You can see Dinamo Zagreb starting to light up, as indeed are Atalanta, who we expect to score possibly 2 goals today. So that could be my first one to look at. Are they waking up second half? Let's have a look at the second half scoring again. 2-0 for Swansea against Sunderland. Scored in the last 12 and in the last 5 away. Second half scoring is what we're interested in. And I think we had 50-50, didn't we? So I'm going to pass that on to Telegrammers. Good afternoon. In the middle of a live stream now, so it's just going to be verbal messages for you. I would look to lay the draw in the Cagliari-Atalanta match. Atalanta are on a run of some, is it 7 consecutive wins? Let me just confirm that for you. 9 consecutive wins, 4 consecutive away wins, scoring in the last 12 matches, scoring 2+ goals in each of the last 9. They do score 50-50 first and second half. So I would look to lay the draw in the Cagliari-Atalanta match. Liverpool are a goal down to Fulham, but the problem is they've been red carded. Now that might not, doesn't mean they're going to lose the match, but certainly I'm not going to be getting involved as I would normally in the half-time market looking for a Liverpool equaliser. Bayern Munich are playing Mainz today, but Bayern Munich do not look backable today. They've got Thomas Muller up front instead of Harry Kane. And Thomas Muller is nearly as old as Joe Biden, so I would not be touching that one just yet. Mainz do have 3 goals in them as well. Atalanta are warming up nicely. I hope you're going to get a goal before second half from them. So that looks a good one, doesn't it? The Atalanta one. Let me just bring Football 24 up. Sheffield United have scored against Plymouth. Absolutely no surprise there today. The Blades highly likely to keep Plymouth very, very quiet indeed. Plymouth nearly got us a comeback, didn't they, midweek? They are far more accomplished at home under Wayne Rooney, but away from home, they conceded recently 9 goals in 2 matches. Oh, ouch. Ipswich goal was an own goal, says Stephen. Thank you very much. That if you're a Wolves fan, or if you think this relegation 6-pointer could see both teams score, well, we'll keep an eye on that. They were odds-on favourites pre-match, Wolverhampton Wanderers, but this is a relegation 6-pointer. Arsenal, I would expect to do what they did against Monaco, eventually break through against Everton, maybe scoring 2 or 3 goals. As you know, with Everton, it's very difficult to read them. They're either ultra defensive or they get absolutely tonked. I don't know which one will turn up today. So some fascinating matches. I've not really pulled the trigger, only on the Union Berlin. Got a 1-1. That draw. If that gets anywhere near 3 or under, surely it'll be well worth doing. Atalanta, let's have a look at the draw there. This is not something I like anymore, really. I just find the liability too high. I've got no alternative, because you either get involved now or you wait until you get better odds, and you're highly likely to miss a goal. The only other method could be, given the fact they've been scoring 2 goals regularly, that 0-2, with a little bit of a Brucey bonus on the 1-2, might yield us some profit. So this is a potential approach here. I would ignore the 0-1, although Cagliari are highly likely to be packing that defence. But they've scored 2 goals in each of the last 9 matches. They're 50-50 scoring, first and second half. Again, ever mindful that we're trying to keep the liability as low as possible. Maybe a break even on the 2-0, just in case Cagliari score. Load up, sorry, on the 2-1, and load up on the 2-0. Keep your liability low. How much of a return can we get for a small stake? Let's have a look. We've missed the goal already. Oh, and there it is. 0-1 Atalanta. I'm so glad I passed on that, laid the draw to the Telegrammers. And you can see the value of Soccer Stats at this stage of the season. It is superb in uncovering these matches. So you can see what I was about to do there. I was going to have a break even on 0-1, load up on the 0-2. I was not going to stop at 30 because the liability was very low indeed. I hope you got there quicker than I did. Peterborough are in a going mood today, that's for sure. 2-0 up against Crawley, but they didn't give us a chance to get on. Sassuolo, we'll be keeping an eye on that one. We can have a quick look. Do Sassuolo score late goals? Let's have a look at this one. Newly relegated, so a side to be with, particularly, as you can see, with all of that green. They are a bit like Atalanta, aren't they? Going through an excellent run at the moment. How about their second half scoring? Let's have a look. Well, against Frosinone, a couple of 0-1 wins, so they're only just crossing the line, and it's already 1-1. So where's that second goal? Slight concern there. And second half scoring and conceding for Fros. Conceding 7 of their 10 goals in the second half. That could see a target on their back. Sassuolo away from home. Well, let's target. If they don't score 46th to 70th, they could score 76th to 90th. So that would be a port of call there. 76th minute, 10 minutes time, 11 minutes time. Let's see if Sassuolo's pressure can continue. Dinamo Zagreb, you might see a little bit of value here, but with the elite leagues playing today, you can put the Croatian league on the back burner. Up to you if you wanted to play a bit like Red Star earlier on. You're going to get low odds if you wanted to look for the possibility of a Dinamo Zagreb win. There. You could even just dip your toe in. Keep your liability low. It is a local derby, but they are showing well in the in-play stats. So you can have a go like that. keep that liability as low as possible. Try to make that 74 or 75 quid work for you if we can get that 1-1. But it's not a priority match, this one. We've got a few odds-ons, as you can hear. Bradford have scored against Swindon. Let's have a look. Who's the odds-on favourite here? Bradford are. Huddersfield against Lincoln. Who's the odds-on favourite here? This could be a possible play. We've got an odds-on Huddersfield, 2 goals down. Both goals from open play, so fair enough. But one to shortlist. I'm not sure which league this is. English League One. Okay. Huddersfield, English League One. So we'll have a look at that, see whether we're going to get a reaction from Huddersfield to being 2 goals down. So where are we? English League One. Huddersfield. Can't see them. Must have them already saved at the top here. Yep, Huddersfield and Lincoln. So that's one to look out for. I'm not going to dive into these. I don't know anything much about Huddersfield. The in-play stats, of course, could tell us everything we need to know. So we're just waiting for the... Oh, that's Wimbledon. So we're just looking for something to happen. We haven't seen a reaction yet from Hibernian. No shots on target yet from them, so I'm not going to be getting involved. Do keep an eye out on Liverpool. Arguably could equalise, could push on. Andy Robertson's absence, so that'll be a whole load of crosses absent. But they do have a formidable front line. We'll just have to watch it. It's certainly not one to dive in on at the moment. Sassuolo, as you can see, just adding to their shots off target. It's 75th minute is when they start scoring and Frosinone start conceding. So that would be my target starting point there. Just looking at more goals. Castillon, we know they're odds-on favourites. Bradford, I think, odds-on against Swindon. So no surprises just yet. Wrexham against Cambridge. No surprises there. We can take Atalanta off the watch list. Augsburg and Bayer, well, that's already done and dusted. Bayern Munich, don't fancy that Thomas Muller up front, I'm afraid. I really don't. What a poor replacement for Harry Kane. I don't understand that one myself. And with that in mind, you don't have to play, even though they were installed as odds-on favourite. And thank you for Stephen for that, because if it was Harry Kane, I'd be a lot more confident in a play. Liverpool, we're just going to have to wait. As you can see, they're still going to be an attacking force. It's up to you whether you see value in 10-man Liverpool at 4.75. You would certainly have to cover that insurance, wouldn't you? Hibernian, nothing doing from Hibernian at the moment. Why are they odds-on favourite? Well, they're not showing it at the moment. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that one. And thank you for telling me that the Ipswich goal was not a goal from open play, but it is a relegation 6-pointer, and Wolverhampton Wanderers really are not the most reliable units on the planet, are they? Huddersfield, we could see a little bit of value in Huddersfield. Odds-on favourite at home, 2 goals down. Yes, 2 goals from open play. So deserved from Lincoln City, but why are Huddersfield odds on? They haven't turned up just yet, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Any other matches of importance at the moment? Well, let's have a look. Just looking for the possibility of that second goal for Atalanta for my bet that I nearly got on. Bundesliga, nothing much to surprise us at the moment there. I'm just trying to get my phone to work. Sorry, it's just turned off. My apologies. That's why I'm a little distracted. It's got all of the Football 24 on it. So just see if I can sort that one out. So those are my watch lists at the moment. A couple of red cards of importance. But we couldn't quite get across the line for Union Berlin before halftime, but still, it really was an excellent bet. Really good odds, wasn't it? Let's just make sure I can get my Football 24 up because I'm missing the goals as they're coming in. Newcastle have scored first against Leicester City. Now, if that remains 1-0 late on, you're going to possibly have that Leicester City fight back. Leicester City late fight back. So let's keep an eye on that one. I'm sorry, my phone is tinkering with me. I've only got the one hand, I'm afraid. Let me just get the in-play stats up. I've just got to get this sorted. I am sorry. It's just a bit fiddly. We're not missing anything. Just keeping an eye on Liverpool to see whether they can actually do something. I've got to get the Football 24 back up. So once I've got that back up, you can hear it in the background. It's just there it is. Good. So Sassuolo have scored. Another one of those teams well worth following. Did you lay the draw or did you wait, hoping to get a little better odds? Side well worth following, Sassuolo, aren't they? But didn't really tempt me in just yet. But they looks like they've got the goal that we were expecting. That'll be a second half look at Union Berlin. So let's have a look. We're going to have to, if we get involved, lay the draw if we can get threes out of the draw. But again, already on the match odds. So any reason to get involved again and increase liability even further. We've got that. If they can score that next goal, we've got a full half with them at home to score that next goal. So that's a possibility in the future. If you don't want to go half stake to cover the draw, you can always go full stake and look to capture the win. Logically possible, of course, against 10 men. So let's just catch up with some in-play stats. Well, let's have a look at our odds-on list. Any surprises down here? Possible, but it's a derby, as you know very well. Don't tend to play these derbies. Find them very difficult. Arsenal still no goal against Everton, but similar story against Monaco midweek. They did eventually cross the line. Liverpool, not to be discounted at all. Could deliver today. Newcastle would be a late play if it remains 1-0 or even 2-0. Remember, Leicester came back against Brighton with 2 late goals, and they've got a real old Manchester United under Fergie habit of going until the death. So that could be promising. Thank you very much to Stephen for this information here. A Doherty own goal for Ipswich. Relegation 6-pointer. Where are these two in the standings? We don't have to look up. We look down. Bottom 3. As things stand, this is the live standings. As things stand, Ipswich will bring Crystal Palace into their vision. Crystal Palace have a game in hand. So this is a vital must win. The winner will go on to 12 points and bring these lot a little bit closer. Everton highly likely to lose today, so that would help the cause. As you can see, it's a real relegation 6-pointer. You have to factor that in because you know what Wolves are like, over 2.5 goals. But in a nervy match like this, Ipswich will be desperate for the 3, as will Wolves. So fascinating. Are we going to stick or twist? Well, things are just a little calm, let's have a look at Hibernian and Ross County and decide for ourselves why Hibernian were odds-on favourite. They haven't turned up yet today, but it could be that Ross County are very good in the first half and maybe fall apart in the second half. Elijah Campbell, 3-minute goal for Ross County. A lot of score draws for Hibs. It's good news for traders. Recent form, it's very bitty, isn't it? Very poor form. Ross County's wins have only tended to come at home, all 3 of them, but then Hibernian have only 2 wins. So they don't look that good, do they? Either side. Both teams have scored in the last 5 home matches for Hibernian. Is that enough to tempt you in there? I'm just going to stick the heater on my feet. They're getting very cold indeed. So I hope you don't feel or hear the heater in the background. Oh man, can't wait to go back to the Gulf of Thailand. Whoever booked Christmas in December needs to be shot. 12th against 8th. Hibs are scoring at home. They've only failed to score against Celtic at home. Ross County, well, they've failed to score in all bar 2 away matches now. They've scored against bottom side Hibs and second to bottom Hearts. That might be a signal that Ross County are okay against strugglers, but similar story to Hibs, unbeaten against 8th and lower. Wrong end of the table really to be fully trusted, aren't they? So thankfully I've done a little bit of research there, and as Les Dennis would say, not for me at the moment, unless we see some compelling evidence here. Not seeing it, I'm afraid. 36 minute in, still very quiet for Liverpool. Let's catch up with some of the matches not on the watch list. Take that off. Castillon, odds on. I think we can hide that now. 1.33, delivering. That's what we want to see of these odds on favourites. Mallorca and Girona was on the over 2.5 goal list today. Don't forget that is available for you. And the over 2.5 goals are taken from the research. So let's have a look at how that's getting on. Arsenal and Everton, well, it's either or, isn't it? You know the deal. Liverpool and Fulham now, the red card's in play. That's changed the complexion of that match, hasn't it? Newcastle and Leicester, we've got the first goal coming in there. Likely first half goal, so that's obliged. That's also obliged. Jimenez has scored early for Fulham as well. I wonder if he scored today. Wolves and Ipswich, probable first half goal. So nice and accurate. La Liga, over 2.5 goals likely. We've already got a 1-1 in that match. So putting together some good ones here. Probable first half goal, of course. We've already got a 2-1 already, I think. No, Augsburg goal was disallowed. Mönchengladbach, we've got the goal again. Mainz, and yeah, we've got the goal again. So this research, of course, hasn't factored in Thomas Muller up front instead of Harry Kane. Union Berlin, Bochum, red card in tow. So changes the complexion of that match as well. But as you can see, a degree of accuracy there. Quite liking that. 1.5 goal second half, or is this going to be a typical Everton 9-man defence? We will have to find out. I do think that this Arsenal side are just a little bit too good. Eventually, it could be similar to that Monaco match midweek, where they just got going late on, and it turned out to be a very emphatic win. So let's have a look at some of the other matches. Are there any in-play stats of any importance? We could see a lay the draw here, Mallorca and Girona. Girona did concede second half penalty against Liverpool. These are 2 defensively led sides, but strangely enough, with over 2.5 goals. So the research accurate there. Falkirk and Ayr is an odds-on favourite match, but I'm not going to be playing that. It's probably too illiquid. So a quick look at our odds-ons. We work our way down. Any surprises? Well, the Liverpool, of course, the only odds-on favourite, losing at home. No, Wolves are as well. Working our way to the Championship, and the two likely sorts are doing the job. Sheffield United likely to be extremely tough to score against, but we will see. If this was Plymouth at home, they might be given a chance. The odds-on favourites in English League One. Huddersfield, the standout, aren't they? 2 goals down. Peterborough did say if they turn up at odds-on, they will deliver. Rotherham, no problem at all. Wickham have scored first. Wrexham and Cambridge is finely poised. The odds-on favourites in English League Two. Just Colchester have yet to score, and MK Dons against Gills, they've yet to score. So English League Two, Colchester and MK Dons. Just go on the watch list. English League Two, Colchester and MK Dons. We're expecting goals, aren't we? In a 1.4, the favourite match. And 1 shot on 11 off 5 corners for Colchester, 29 dangerous attacks. What we can do, if we're expecting goals, have a look at the second half scoring record for these odds-ons and see whether we've got an over 2.5 goal or over 1.5 goal second half angle. Odds-ons performing well, apart from Bayern Munich, but I can't be trusting them today, I'm afraid. An absolute mystery how Thomas Muller is up front. Goodness me. Union Berlin were expecting a second half goal at some point, aren't we? The value, if you didn't play initially, would be to lay the draw if it gets to 3s or lower. AEK Athens, about 40 minutes in now for the 1.29 favourites. I'll just keep an eye on that one in the Greek Super League. So we'll work our way up to Greece. AEK Athens. Well, it's a simple, typical Greek match, isn't it, from Lamia? Keeping them away from their shots on target. You can quite clearly see that. That's why we do these odds on, so we can just keep an eye on them, particularly the ones where we don't see the goals or we're not seeing the goals we expect. Union Craiova, Sepsi, not sure how this is progressed. Did we miss a trade? No, we didn't. Maldonado, Oberlin. So the underdogs have equalised. Might see that draw, vulnerable second half. And Hibs, we now know, at bottom of the league. So Lord knows how they're 1.44. Unless Ross are playing Jonathan Ross up front with his brother Paul Ross. That's the only, and Ross Kemp on the left wing. That's the only reason Hibernian would be 1.44 favourite today. Red card though for Falkirk, so no wonder it's 3-2 to the underdog. I'm not going to be worrying too much about that. I think we can get rid of Castillon. Don't need to follow that. All hail to the Ale, scoring first already. So that's why we do the odds-on list. It gives you something to work off, gives you a way to generate trading angles. And we know the market fancies them. If they turn up as the market expects, we've got a really good chance, haven't we? So let's go through our list. You know as well as I do, the Zagreb match is a derby. So if you are going to play, your stakes have to be really low or remain disciplined and simply don't play. We're highly expecting a Union Berlin goal at some point. The value will be if this gets to 3s or lower, this draw, then we'll be up for it for sure. If you're getting a little squeamish, you can, if this gets to 0.00, you can always get out. Because it's a bit of a surprise against 10 men. The 10 men have scored first. But 96 attacking pressure index for Union Berlin suggests that we're on the cusp of getting that important goal for Union Berlin, which will bring the money home. Let's just have a look at the Bayern Munich stats. Well, that's Thomas Muller for you. It's very hard to score when you've got a walking frame and a nurse with you for the duration. What a surprise. There's no established second striker. Unbelievable, Jeff. So thank you very much, Stephen, for alerting me to that, because had I not known that Harry Kane was absent, it would have been highly likely that we could have had a look at taking Mainz on, but not at the moment. I'm quite happy to take a loss here. If I don't mean a loss, but miss the opportunity for an equaliser. I'm just not happy with Thomas Muller. He's hardly a goal machine, is he? Liverpool and Fulham. We could still see some surprises from Liverpool, so don't discount them, particularly if this is 0-1 late on. These odds get lower and lower. Liverpool's forward line is quite superb. This is the first real tester for the manager, playing with 10 men. It was a struggle against Girona midweek in the Champions League. It did require Mohamed Salah penalty in the second half. But really, you'd have expected, with Fulham's awful record at Anfield, you'd have expected Liverpool 11v11 to have a comfortable afternoon. We could still see that equaliser. We could even see the possibility of a Liverpool win. We just have to see how they're coping without Andy Robertson. You know as well as I do now, this lot are 12th. Well, it was there for us. They're bottom of the league and don't make any great appeal at the moment. Unless this ignites, and it really will have to. We're going to have to see some 70, 80, 90%ers like this on the attacking pressure index have any chance of entertaining Hibernian today. I'm not going to rush into this at all. I don't fancy this lot. I don't fancy Thomas Muller. Wolves, well, would you buy a motor off Wolverhampton Wanderers? Relegation 6-pointer. Very, very difficult side to trust, even though they're an extremely good over 2.5 goal side this season. It's a toughie. Let's get the matches which are cleaner, more clean cut, you know. Coventry earlier on. Hull, 24th in the league. Only 2 shots, all match. So have a bit of trust in Coventry. Cover that 0-1. That's more readable, isn't it? These are more like puzzles that we're having to try and solve and trying to find an argument to trust these sides. As you can see, Huddersfield haven't turned up. We can have a look at English League One form for Huddersfield against Lincoln City. So Premier League, Championship, League One. Huddersfield against Lincoln City. And it's 2-0 to Mainz. 3-goal haul. You know why I didn't get involved. And it's a Real Mallorca red card that might open the door up to Girona. Certainly, it's better value, 2-0. But if you haven't got Harry Kane on the pitch, I think the only real way to get involved with Mainz and Bayern Munich is to wait for substitutions. We did that with Tottenham and Manchester United in Europe. That produced the catalyst. I think going to have to take Muller off, I'm afraid. I'm sorry to have a dig at the OAPs amongst you, but going to have to take the poor lad off. Just not an adequate replacement at all. I don't know where I was going, which match I was going to have a look at. I can't remember. Huddersfield and Lincoln, oh, we're there already. So Huddersfield look excellent, don't they? 2+ goals scoring very recently, or very frequently, not recently, but frequently. Look solid at home as well. Do they have a good second half scoring rate? Do Lincoln City have a good second half conceding rate? Let's have a look. Challenge table will be the first port of call. We've got 4th in the league against 9th. So it's a top 10 clash, but still against all comers, or the top 13 that they have played, Huddersfield, they've won the lot. They haven't played the top 7 at home yet, but they've beaten 8th and 11th. And they've beaten 10th away. and 7th away. So that's a nice cluster around today's opponent of wins. Lincoln, big question mark, isn't it? We don't know how they're going to perform against 3rd to 10th away. But if they're losing away with home advantage, that could signal some problems. Tending to fail to score, or at least failing to score that second goal. You can see all the way down to 21st and above. Scored that second goal today, haven't they? Normally reserve that for the bottom 3. Huddersfield haven't turned up yet. That's the problem. But those of you with a glass half full, you know you're going to get extremely good odds. And that draw continues to tempt those of you in. It's getting to 3.2 for the Union Berlin match. Let's have a look at how the odds are here. Is this okay for you? Have a dip in. Let's just see whether we get a solid half-time team talk. Again, liability as low as possible if you're not wholly taken. Do try to get £100+ because that can be money that can work for you in creating a better green screen. Could lay Lincoln as well just to cover the draw, or even just leave a little bit on the draw as an incentive to you to stay it. So that's a possible angle there. So I'll just pass that one on to Telegram. Laying Lincoln via Huddersfield. Tend to score 2+ and win at home. Very low liability as Hud not turned up yet stats wise. Okay, keep your liability as low as possible while still having an interest in and still having a reason to play as well. AEK Athens, well, if that draw gets a little bit lower, we've got a really good chance here. And it's a relatively quiet day, isn't it, for a Saturday? So we've got the advantage that we can have just a quick look at how they perform this season. Hope you're all okay. Robert, it's all Everton. 9-man defence at the moment. It's an Everton 9-man defence at the moment. It looks like so far all Arsenal as well, says Robert. They're going to do, I think, Robert, what they did midweek. It was very, very impressive performance. I'm becoming an Arsenal fan despite not being an Arsenal fan. I just like the setup. It's really good. Great to watch as well. Really good side to watch. Very entertaining. What am I looking at? I'm looking at the midweek match against Monaco. I think majority of these, well, Hibernian have equalised, but I wasn't going to play. Bottom of the league. As Saka, oh, that's a 2-goal haul late on. Kai Havertz and Saka eventually wore them down. That's, I think, what I'm trying to get across to you. What could happen today with Everton eventually wearing them down. So that would be something for me to look at. Well, Hibernian get the equaliser, but I didn't play. I'm not trusting bottom of the league and their stats. They haven't turned up. If you did play it yourself, well done. But not for me. Pick my battles. If I lose money, then I'll be swearing, why did I trust bottom of the league side? Mainz and Bayern Munich. Well, Bayern Munich shots off target. Really, really missing your man, Harry Kane. Have they made any substitutes yet? Got to bring off the old guy. Bring on Joe Biden. He's younger than Thomas Muller. Let's have a look. They could bring on Kevin Keegan. He used to play for Hamburg. He's probably the same age as Thomas Muller. No substitutions yet. Well, here they come. Goretzka, Boy, and Tell for Eric Dyer. Any forwards? defender. It's a little negative. So not for me, I'm afraid, today. Once you're missing your star, I wonder if Vincent Kompany can get something out of this. Colchester, we know, are odds-on favourite, look very solid as well. We were going to have a look at the Greek Super League because we've got the advantage of it not being an absolute goal fest today. AEK Athens, Lamia. Is there any good second half pattern? Don't forget Sassuolo. No, who was that side with the 75th plus minute goals? We'll have to keep an eye on them. Unless the goal's already been scored. I can't remember who it was. It'll come back to me, I'm sure. So let's just have a quick look at Lamia AEK Athens for possibility of a second half goal. Utter dominance from AEK Athens, of course. Lamia only one win all season. 1-1 against AEK Athens in the second match of the season. Saw a very good tradable match with an 88th minute equaliser for Mukudi and AEK Athens. So no surprise really to see it's quiet. There's only 5 over 2.5 goal matches all season, notably. They do lose against the big guns. You probably see that more in the challenge table. Let's work and have a look down at the challenge table. It's second from bottom against second top. 1-1 draw last time, but tending to concede 2+ goals against the top 3 at home, Lamia. So they should eventually capitulate, but there is that notable 0-0 for AEK Athens against Kallithea. But I think it's Athens Kallithea, so that is an Athenian derby. So again, you're going to get surprise results in derby matches. And goals scored second half. And goals conceded. Well, about 50-50 for Lamia. 61st minute onwards, they're at their most vulnerable. AEK Athens away from home. Not scoring that many for a 1.2 shot. 43% second half. So a little underwhelming. But they are utterly dominating this match. So again, if you can get the draw as low as possible, you might have a really good shot at this one. Mallorca. Will Girona take advantage of the red card? They didn't score against Liverpool, but really weren't expected to in what was a very tight defensive match in the Champions League. Get rid of Italian Serie B now. Sassuolo have got the goal. So I called that one right. I hope you took action. If you did, well done. Hapoel Beersheva already leading. Highly likely to absolutely dominate this one. Just get rid of a few of these. Augsburg and Bayer Leverkusen, nothing happening there, and we can hide that one. Mönchengladbach, done what we expect. Marseille at home tend to be pretty solid, but these are 2 European sides, so that's going to be a very close encounter. Arsenal against Everton, 2 shots on target, 5 shots off, and 5 corners for Arsenal at half time. Could score 2 goals second half. Newcastle are absolutely dominating Leicester City, but then so did West Ham. And West Ham were pretty much done for with a 3-1 defeat from out of nowhere. I did think that 1.29 was a tad short for Newcastle. Remains to be seen whether Leicester will score again and whether they're going to continue that fighting pattern of scoring 86 plus minute goals under Ruud van Nistelrooy. It's not a good tactic to have to go 2 goals down and then score 2 late ones, but it's working so far. Anything of interest in the lower tiers? Carlisle, some good in-play stats, a goal down. Are they? Well, they're not favoured pre-match, 2.3 the favourite, but I'll keep an eye on Carlisle with home advantage. Bradford and Swindon, no. Birmingham, absolutely dominating Bristol Rovers, absolutely no surprise there. I think we can hide that one with some confidence. Really, it's the odds-on favourites that I'm interested in these lower tiers, and they look to be performing. Peterborough, Sheffield United, for example. But notable that Wayne Rooney's Plymouth have had 32 dangerous attacks to 15. But this is a well-drilled Blades side. Very, very tough nut to crack. Millwall putting in a good fist of it at Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough full of goals against the right team. It's very, very equal, isn't it? Apart from the scoreline. So you might get a surprise here from Millwall. We can break and have a look at the Millwall-Middlesbrough match. Any expectation from Millwall away from home? Let's have a look. And Middlesbrough, are we expecting their usual goals? Let's have a look. So we go pretty much strict and sequences. Will give you a quick look. No draw in 7 at home for Middlesbrough. Conceded in the last 9 and in the last 4 at home. No defeat in 4 away for Millwall. They'll be delighted with that. Scored and conceded in the last 2 away. 12 consecutive under 2.5 goal matches. So you can tell Millwall's focus is on that defence, isn't it? It's 7th against 13th. Now, this is where Middlesbrough is scoring. That's the problem. 17th and lower. This is where they're getting their goal fests. 3, 2, 2, 6, 2, 5, 4. Suddenly, it's all a little bit too quiet against better sides, isn't it? 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1 against the top 16. That could suggest to you the possibility of taking it on a Middlesbrough lead, but then you have to rely on Millwall. They're having a lot of 1-1s, but again, similar to Borough against bottom sides. Don't look that appealing away from home, Millwall at all. But then Middlesbrough tend to stop out at a single goal at home against the top 16. Second half goals. Millwall have a threat second half. Well, not really. 4 goals scored second half. Middlesbrough at home. It remains to be seen who they're scoring this lot against. Is it against 17th and lower? Just going to turn the light on. Won't be long. And the heater again. Very, very cold. So degree of caution today is paying off with some big names not performing. As we prepare for the second half, let's have a look at the odds on again. Red Bull Salzburg, will they actually score a goal today? That would be a rarity. Another Champions League side suffering badly. Peterborough, not so for them. Arsenal and Everton second half begins. I could foresee the possibility of this Arsenal side doing what they did midweek, scoring at least a couple of goals against this highly likely to be defensive Everton side. It's all about whether they can break through. You'd expect Arsenal to break through. With Liverpool losing today, this is the perfect opportunity to just add to the points tally for Arsenal. Not sure of what the value will be unless the draw gets nice and short. We might get a play out of that. Fulham, well, Liverpool, not to be dismissed, particularly when you have a half-time team talk as well, where you can manage the side and hopefully get those 10 working. Newcastle are going to have to come from 2 goals behind again. So watch out for that. They are 2-0 down. No, has that goal been allowed or not? We're just waiting to see. Yeah, confirmed 2-0. So for me, 85th minute, lay of Newcastle just for fun. Obviously, the market getting them absolutely spot on today. So we'll keep an eye on that one. If it remains 2-0, we could have the opportunity. Arsenal are suddenly up and at them. Any way we can exploit this Arsenal dominance? Are the draw odds short enough? Do you want to look at a 2-0 for the Arsenal? I couldn't really foresee a 0-1 win for Everton, but it could see a goal for Everton, 2-0, 2-1. But you saw the Atalanta match earlier on that ended only 0-1. We didn't get that second goal. But 5.2, even 3-0 is quite high, isn't it? Quite low relatively, considering we've got the second half to go. 12s for 3-0. That's relatively skinny, isn't it? Could the market be telling us something? Those of you who want to experiment with neutral plays, over 1.5 goals will have drifted considerably. You can see it time and time again. It's 1.25 or thereabouts. This is a neutral play, but you do need that goal scored between now and the 70th minute. So if you can rely on Arsenal to do that, you're going to get yourself a nice return. 3-0 to Newcastle. So market getting 1.29 favourite Newcastle spot on. I would still be laying them late on at 86th minute. It's the Leicester pattern under Ruud. 2 or 3 goals down, scoring late. Just looking for that odds move, aren't we? But probably going to be better odds move at 2-0 and not 3-0. So let's just see whether we can get an Arsenal goal. Simple as that. 4 shots on 5 off 6 corners. One-way traffic, of course. Just a matter of whether they break through. We've got a goal from Huddersfield, so let's break off and have a look there. Second half team talk. Get the old Lucozade and the DP out. And the old orange segments. And we're off and running for the Terriers. So good start to the second half. It's a very early goal. 49th minute. That will get this one up and running. Just wait for the market to reform, of course. As you can see, there's a big gap between the back and the late odds. Good risk reward return as well. It's about a 2-1. As ever, you double your risk, you double your return. So we're up and running. I'll just pass that on to Telegram. Up and running with a nice early 1-2. I think it's a Terriers, isn't it? Huddersfield. I think so. Yeah, the Terriers. There we go. Good stuff. Again, liability is low, and we're giving ourselves a chance of a really decent return. Look at this for Liverpool FC. 1-1. Some sides are just not to be discounted. Red card down, but I still wouldn't have laid Fulham just yet. This would probably have been a very, very late play for me, but excellent stuff for Liverpool. Is it a penalty? Is it from an own goal? I don't know, but this is crucial now for Arsenal. Crucial, because I think they were expecting. There we go. So some sides are just too good. I wouldn't have been with Fulham. I would have been against Fulham a bit later on, I think, at lower odds. But Arsenal now must respond with an unexpected draw currently for Liverpool. Plenty of time remaining, and they've probably brought on a few more attackers, have they? Let's have a look at the substitutions. None yet, I don't think. Not yet. We're likely to see some subs coming on for Liverpool at some point. But Diaz is playing. When he's playing, that's always a good sign. He's normally rested for Champions League matches, Luis Diaz. So he's out. Mo Salah's here. Gravenberch, Gakpo. So it's just still a very solid. It's a VAR, but it could be a sign. If it's not allowed, could be a sign to take on Fulham. 1.61 for a side with 11 players leading. It's no market confidence whatsoever. I think that unless that's at 1-1, I'm not sure. But we'll wait and see whether the goal is allowed or not. Don't forget Union Berlin against Bochum. It's been woeful performance from Union Berlin this second half. Down to 10. Bochum. Awful performance from Union Berlin. Do we have a late cherry on top? We'll soon see. Mainz and Bayern. Well, thank you very much, Stephen. You've saved me a few quid here. But if you see a little bit of value, I like that. That's a nice risk-reward return, isn't it? Bayern Munich. Mainz, are they layable? Do they? Well, this is going to cost you nothing. We know Thomas Muller is playing, so it's highly unlikely to be a goal fest. But this is Bayern Munich after all, and this is costing you really nothing to find out. That's more like it for getting involved in that Bayern Munich match. It's not with any great confidence, but they are warming up. There's 8 minutes to go. Could be a little bit of extra time. Do we have any substitutions on, or has Nurse given Thomas Muller his bed bath yet? Let's have a quick look. We've got yes, we've just got Tel, Goretzka, and Boy coming on, but a defender coming on is very weird. You thought they'd go for it. But, yeah, it's just, I think it's a poor managerial decision really to put Thomas Muller on. Where's your young upcoming strikers? He's certainly not young or upcoming. Muller playing for Bayern is no substitute for Harry Kane. Laying Mainz now at 1.05. Costs little as Bayern start showing some solid attacking stats. So I think that's good. It's a low liability play, but you've still got an attacking unit on your side. 72 attacking pressure index, but the elephant in the room, no shots on target. Looks like that Liverpool goal may have stood. What a pity, because had it been 0-1, I think, or had it not stood, I think I would have got involved with some kind of a lay of Fulham, because that's kind of a gives you an indication. If you can't watch the match, gives you an indication that there's a possibility there of the 10 players being competitive. Arsenal and Everton, it's 1.1 attacking pressure index. We know this is typical of Everton. Very, very defensive side, but I just get that feeling that Arsenal will be looking to do what they did against Monaco midweek. Any changes in personnel? Not really. Lineups: Martinelli, Havertz and Saka. Marino, Rice, Odegaard, and Bayern Munich have a goal back. Look at that, perfectly timed. Perfectly timed. And again, look at the risk reward. You may say, oh, well, £9.80, what do you do? But it's only a £4 liability. Double that, that becomes 20 quid. So nice stuff. Now, Mainz are going to be thinking to themselves, do we have the belief that we can actually get a win against Bayern Munich? If Thomas Muller scored, then I'll write him a letter of apology. Leroy Sane, that's more like it. I would be far more confident with him up front than Thomas Muller. Sane on the left. Michael Olise as well from Crystal Palace. He could help as well. So we're up and running. Up and running. Got a good chance here. But it could as equally be 3-1 as 2-2. We can get rid of Mönchengladbach now, of course, as well. So good stuff. Getting involved at the right time with a low liability. Lovely jubbly. So that's still plenty of time left as well. So it's a well-timed 2-1 that. We've got 4 minutes plus extra time. And we've got a doubt seeping into Mainz now. Arsenal coming to the hour mark, still haven't broken through against Everton. 2 late goals against Monaco, though, midweek. Remain hopeful. Just got to get past that defence. Will they be doing Liverpool a favour today, Everton? Strangely, by taking 2 points off Arsenal. Will Liverpool get a win today? They could do, couldn't they? So that draw could be very layable at some point if it's low enough. Hibernian, well, I don't think I'll be playing at bottom of the league, even at odds on. 4-0 to Newcastle. I don't think I'll be laying Newcastle United late on. This is alarm bells now for Leicester City and Ruud van Nistelrooy. He can't be as cavalier as they have in the first 2 matches. Scoring 5 goals, yeah, but conceding 2 previously. Ain't going to work. He just lacks a little bit of experience as well, Ruud, doesn't he? And he's a striker, so no wonder they're 4-0 down. Wolves not turned up at all in this relegation 6-pointer. It's very difficult to trust Wolverhampton Wanderers and indeed trust Ipswich. Again, pick your battles. You've just seen Bayern Munich won far better value than trying to trust Wolverhampton Wanderers. I just can't trust Wolverhampton Wanderers. But we'll see whether they come alive. But as you can see, 19 attacking pressure index, flat, momentum flat, or momentum non-existent, basically. Huddersfield, we got the goal back nice and early. That opens the door up now with a half an hour to go for the real Huddersfield to turn up today. The side that tends to score 2 goals against the bottom half sides at home. Watch out for Millwall if they can keep Middlesbrough to 1-0. Millwall are a very tough side to score 2 goals against. Middlesbrough tend to do their 2 goal scoring against 17th and lower. So they could be vulnerable here at some point in this match. If you want to lay them now, by all means do. 1.2 and a 21 back for the Lions. MK Dons were odds on favourite, weren't they, against Gillingham? 48 dangerous attacks to 7. Do you trust that? English League 2, we can have a quick look. MK Dons against Gillingham. Premiership, Championship, League 1, League 2. MK Dons against Gillingham. And thankfully, Soccer Stats is working today. They completely blocked off all of the stats the other day and asking for 60 quid or thereabouts up front. It's a bit cheeky. MK Dons on an excellent run at the moment. I'm quite happy to show the adverts, but if they're allowing me like this, then great. MK Dons have scored 3 goals in each of the last 4 matches. Wow. Gillingham haven't scored that second goal since the 28th of September. So on that basis, they might just be tempting me in. MK Dons against Gillingham. Take the insurance out. It's going to be relatively high. I hope I'm not going to rue this. Or let's have a look at match odds first, because you might be able to do this. No, it's still a little bit too low. So this will cost you about 20 quid, but you're hoping to be compensated by MK Dons +1 being a lot higher. 2.28, and we did this at 1.56. You could go this route. MK Dons, sorry, +1. MK Dons, yeah. 2.3. So you get a decent return if you can get an equaliser. Those of you who are feeling brave, well, the match odds is there for you. The only negative I have to say about this is the league that we're in, English League 2. Not very trustworthy at all, but ticking all the boxes, MK Dons. It is a top 11 clash, fair enough. Ticking all the boxes. Do most of their good work, though, against 15th and lower. A rare 0-1 win away at 9th for Gillingham, but they are 1-0 up at the moment. They've got a whole raft of 1-0 wins against the top 10. So that's why I think insurance is so important there. So we will see. Second half, MK Dons. Do they have any reputation for second half goals? Not really. Mostly scored first half. But it looks good. I think in-play stats are good. Dangerous attacks are very impressive, 50-7. Momentum, it's all blue, isn't it? So a bit of a quick one for Gillingham, and that got them the goal. So let's just hope, at the very least, Gillingham will record yet another 1-0 win against the top sides. Arsenal still not broken through. 65 minutes in, the draw odds are going to get shorter and shorter. Are they going to score? Let's have a quick look at whether Everton have done this against the top sides. They have a reputation, Sean Dyche's men. Let's have a look. It is post-Europe, which is a negative for Arsenal. But let's have a look at the challenge table. We've got nothing to gauge at all. Everton have not yet met the top 5, home or away. So on that basis, we've got absolutely nothing to work with. We don't know which Everton turns up. It is important information because sometimes sides, you've seen Preston North End against the top 5. 0-0, 0-0, 0-0, 0-0, and I think a 0-2 defeat or something like, or a 0-1 defeat. So setting up a specific way against top 5 sides, that could be what Everton, ? Are going to be doing. But they got all of this top 5 to play, home and away. We don't know at all. We can infer, you're conceding 4 here, 4 here, and 3 here, 3 here and 3 here, with home advantage, that they are going to be in trouble against the top 8. We've got nothing to work off. Arsenal against 15th and lower. We'll be expecting at least 2 goals from them. 2, 5, 4, 2, 3. Let's just have a look. Are they second half goals? Do they eventually get through? Yes, well, 0-0 at half time. 54th and 73rd minute goals, both from corners. So do check the Arsenal corner count out, because this is where they tend to get their goals. 52 and 86. So a real pattern here. 54, 73, 52, 86. Tend to score within the first 10 or 15 minutes and then follow up with a late one. 58 and 88. So again, the same pattern. Get an early, finish it off with a late. Here, James Justin. I don't know him very well. No, Gabriel Martinelli and Trossard, 90th and 90th. So that pattern didn't continue there. So we remain hopeful with Arsenal. They are the dominant force at the moment, but we just don't know anything about Everton against the top 5, home or away. So a 0-0, would it surprise or wouldn't it? I don't know. We've got nothing to gauge at all. Must win, really, to hope that Liverpool cock things up against Fulham. But Liverpool are looking excellent at the moment, assuming they're down to 10. Wolves, as you know, couldn't trust them. A bit like Union Berlin. Can't trust them with stolen money at the moment. Any interest at all from you? 60-minute shots off target. I would like to watch the match to gauge this kind of a match, but I can't watch it on YouTube. Huddersfield, we're going to get that second goal from them at some point. I hope so. It's a nice early 1-2, should settle the nerves and also make Lincoln think twice as well. Middlesbrough's 1-0 could be a tenuous scoreline. We know these are two very defensive sides. Middlesbrough tend to stop out at just the single goal. Millwall tend to keep sides quiet. MK Dons and the Gills, still possibility of that equaliser for MK Dons if we can trust them. AEK Athens, they're going to break through at some point. You'd expect so, wouldn't you? But it was a 1-1 the last time these two met. Lamia can pack that defence, but you'd be looking at that 0-0 ending at some point. 14 shots off target for Colchester, 1.38 pre-match. Awful stuff. English League 2. Can I really trust these sides? I'm not too sure. Mallorca and Girona, second half is beginning, and Mallorca might be feeling it a bit second half. I think an important match for these two. We can, again, just have a quick look at the research. Work our way down. I know the red card's in play, so we'd be more interested in Girona's ability to score, because if they can keep scoring, but they got 2 against Villarreal, which is very good indeed. Both of those goals second half as well. 4 against Espanyol, but that was at home. 4 against Leganes. So challenge table, Mallorca are up there, top 8. So it's a top 10 clash. Got a suspended market. Is that an Arsenal breakthrough? We will see. Is it a Huddersfield 2-2? Oh, it's a Real Mallorca 2-1. There we go. Continue their excellent form. Mallorca. So that's interesting now. The 10 men are leading. Girona against the top 8. Well, just a 2-2 against Villarreal was very recent. So we'll keep an eye on Mallorca. This could be a real boon for them today. Not expecting down to 10. Arsenal, 5 shots on, 6 off, 6 on. It's one-way traffic. It's all a matter of whether they can break through, isn't it? Substitutions might be the key difference. So let's look, see whether any substitutions will be a catalyst for change. They're coming on now. Broja and Lindstrom. Oh no, that's Everton. Calvert-Lewin, of course. Gabriel Jesus, who was very impressive against Mallorca, against Monaco midweek. Partey. Well, they'll have a party if they can get the win today. I do like Gabriel Jesus. Coming on for Merino, who's a midfielder. So intent from Arteta there. Yeah, that's a confirmation of the Mallorca goal there. And are we seeing a turning of the tide in the Liverpool match? Fulham, 67 attacking pressure index. There's always going to be a possibility of that, isn't there? 10 against 11. Particularly playing a fellow Premier League side. Could be ultra fit and well drilled to take advantage of the extra man. So I wonder if Liverpool will capitulate late on. That draw could be layable, couldn't it? As late as possible. Arsenal must be viewing the Liverpool match and thinking we've got to break through, we've got to get the win. Are you going to trust the Arsenal yet? Are they going to get a 1-0 or a 2-0 like they did against Monaco? No sign of it just yet. 72 dangerous attacks to 12. Wolverhampton Wanderers. Do we trust them to keep Ipswich from scoring a second consecutive goal? Only the 1 shot on target, 1 shot off target for Ipswich. Can we trust them? Wolverhampton Wanderers. I can't trust them. And I'm a fan of Wolverhampton Wanderers. So that perhaps tells you everything you need to know there. Hope you're all okay. 2 subs on for the COVID cheats. Arsenal, says Ashley. I fancy a couple of goals. Cove v Kelty game. There's liquidity in the +1 market mark. Could have got out Liverpool for a small profit. Liverpool header goal. Wolverhampton Wanderers have equalised. I wasn't seeing it coming. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Can you trust them to keep Ipswich quiet if you can? And that's an insurance play, isn't it? I'd really like to be able to pin this chat somewhere so I can keep an eye on it. Now, can I pin it? I'm not sure I can pin it. That's the problem. So if you know how I can pin it, that would be excellent. Start app, open a window, permissions. No. I'd like to keep tabs with your commentary because that would be excellent. Don't know any other way of doing it. So let's see. Yeah, not going to really work, is it? Maybe I can work like that, I suppose. Keep that going so I can keep an eye on your chat. So do you think that Arsenal will break through? You can see the evidence in front of you, but Everton not meeting the top 5 home or away this season. So a huge question mark about how to gauge them. Wolverhampton and Ipswich will likely be a lay the draw late on. It's a relegation 6-pointer. If you look at the live standings, these two are now both on 10 points. Both on 10 points. If you look at the live standings, could dearly do with 12 points, couldn't they? To bring this lot into focus, 15th, 16th and 17th into focus. So we'll wait and see that late lay the draw. I'd certainly be covering that draw if it's 1.25 or lower, just because it's one of those matches. You're heading to 2025, you're in the bottom 3, you're playing a fellow bottom 3 side, you've got to take points off them. Rather they go down than you. Still keeping an eye on Millwall. If they can keep Middlesbrough quiet, you might get that late equaliser from Millwall. Carlisle Chesterfield 0-2. Don't have a strong opinion there. So I don't really know why I've got that one listed. Mallorca. Well, another red card side surprising like Liverpool FC. Will they hold on to the win? Mallorca. Top 8 this season. Excellent performances. Let's have a look at our odds-ons. Any surprises there? Red Bull Salzburg, well, I did warn you. They've had trouble actually scoring goals in the Bundesliga. 3 consecutive matches without scoring for a side of this capability. It's down to that Champions League. You wouldn't have thought it with Man City either, would you? Pardubice, Slovan Liberec, all a little quiet. Easter and Sibanek as well. That's just starting. Arsenal and Everton, it's attack the defence. Well, interesting the market put Arsenal at 1.22 without any evidence of how Everton play against the top 5. So a bit cavalier of them. Draw could be layable late on. Could make the 10 men pay. Could, with that striking unit, get the winner, particularly with this lot drawing currently. So fascinating match. We'll see that. We're not going to get a recovery from Leicester on this occasion, that's for sure. Wolves and Ipswich finally poised for a late lay the draw. Fair dues to Wayne Rooney. Plymouth are still in it, but Sheffield United, it's 1-0 to the blades, basically. That's what they tend to do. Any odds on? Well, we're waiting for Huddersfield to do something. The Terriers, can they get that 2-2? You saw that decent enough return. If you keep picking up these 8, 9 quids, soon it turns into 40, 50. So not to be sniffed at if you want to take the green and get out straight away. Had you done that on 3 occasions today, you'd be up to 24, 25 quid. That's not too shabby for a very small liability. So do remember that. You're not necessarily waiting for the 2-2. You could be waiting for the odds movement, which came with that 49th minute Spencer goal. Peterborough and Crawley, well, they're going round the houses, Peterborough today. Shrewsbury and Wycombe, well, odds on delivering, and how, and odds on delivering. So that's why we've got the odds on noted. Bradford, odds on, leading. Colchester and Newport, 80th minute. English League 2, let's have a quick look. Any late goals? Colchester and Newport. Any late goals for the odds on favourites? 1.38. Still not broken through. Why are they such short-priced favourites? Well, Newport have had 3 0-0s in the last 5 matches. That perhaps warns you that something like this could have been on today. And Colchester at home have been awful. 0, 1, 1, 1. And then suddenly 4 goals scored. But recently, real trouble scoring that second goal for Colchester United. Since the 28th of September, they've only done it once. So not the strongest odds on favourite on the planet, are they? I don't know where you're getting this 1.38 from. 18th against 17th, for goodness sake. What's going on? Is it this? Woeful form for Newport against 12th or lower? Or is it this that's tempted the market makers to put Colchester as very, very strong favourites? 14 shots off target, but it's very tight, pretty much. So well worth researching, isn't it, these odds-ons? Because some of them just aren't worth it, are they? Awful stuff. We're getting to panic stations now, I think, for Arsenal. Not quite going the way it was intended, is it? This is a typical Everton performance. Are they going to fall foul late on? Or are they going to hold on for a 0-0? This could cost Arsenal the title, as could the Fulham lead against Liverpool. You did see that subtle shift in momentum, didn't you? Just there. Subtle shift. And I suppose a neutral play would have been the better one. The draw at 1.8, a little bit too high for me. My argument here, look for a very, very late lay the draw. Liverpool could look to win, having equalised. Fulham could look to take advantage with the extra man, which it looks as if they have done now. Arsenal had better wake up. This is an opportunity for Arsenal. Let's have a look at the live standings. An opportunity for Arsenal to do something here if they can just score. Liverpool will be on 35 points if things remain. Arsenal with a win will be on 33 points. Still a game in hand for Liverpool as well. Must win for Arsenal, so therefore that draw very, very layable. And AEK Athens have scored. If you looked at laying that draw there, it was coming, wasn't it? In play stats, did you lay the draw? I hope you did. That's why we've got them on the odds on list to keep an eye on. Stats were looking great. 3 shots on 12 off 7 corners, 70 dangerous attacks. So that draw, 1.8 the last time you looked. Very decent. And that was 77th minute goal. So it took a while. Liverpool are just hoping that Everton helped them out. It is a must win for Arsenal now. So they're going to be looking at laying that draw as late as possible. Got to win to go within 2 points. Still, Liverpool have a game in hand. Let's get rid of Thomas Muller. I think Vincent Kompany will be looking at a replacement for Harry Kane. proper replacement for Harry Kane. So we're just going to wait for the alert on Football 24 if there is an Arsenal goal. Not sure Liverpool can cope. We will see. They have come from behind already. Hibernian, fair enough. The market got them right today, but bottom of the league. Not with my money. Wolverhampton Wanderers, get ready for a lay the draw there. Relegation 6-pointers. So I'll just get this match up. And we'll also get up the Arsenal match. We're looking for late action. Red Bull Salzburg have actually scored. Unbelievable, Jeff. So it's a similar odds, both of these 0-0s, similar odds. They're on my watch list, so I've got them up and ready. Arsenal and Wolves, possibilities to take that on. Anything else for a late play? Let's have a look. Well, we're already involved with Huddersfield. Could have got out, as I say, with that 9 or 10 quid. Add it to your green up amount. And as you know, it's all relative to the amount you've risked. So the more you risk, the more you'll win, but the more you'll lose. That's the problem. MK Dons, are they going to get a late equaliser? 75th plus minute, I thought we were going to target, weren't we? 0-1, 1.29, getting nice and low. Gillingham. When was the last shot on target? Well, that tells a story, doesn't it, for MK Dons? No second half shot on target. 3 second half shots off target. And only the 1 corner. That doesn't interest me all of a sudden. We'll get rid of AEK Athens. Colchester, 1.38. Now you know where these two are in the league. I don't think I'll be entertaining that match at all. League 2 and their positions in the league? No, thank you very much. Marseille have the lead against Lille. Lille look like they could reply, but it's one of those tough matches. 2 high-profile sides meeting each other. Arsenal and Everton. It's getting worrying now. The 87th minute. This could be a chance for Arsenal to shorten the gap to 2 points. They had a goal disallowed, didn't they, the other day to get that 2-1 win against Fulham. And they can't score against Everton. But this is a typical of an Everton performance. And again, it's blind. We just don't know how Everton are going to perform against the top 5. This could be an indicator of how they're going to perform against the rest of the top 5 this season. So let's just have a look at any others which are worth looking at late on. These look to be done and dusted. And Hibs get the win, fair enough. 1.44, market gets them right. But absolutely no form lines there at all for me. So get rid of these Scottish matches. Polish, no. And that's just, no, that's no goal of any interest. So we'll just get rid of a few of these. Sampdoria might be worth following. Hapoel Beersheva, no problem with them today. AEK Athens, that's all you were after, really, that goal. You can see the huge change it's done to the draw odds. Looks like Mainz survived, but that 2-1 had us interested. But thank you very much, Stephen, for saving us a few quid there by telling us about Harry Kane. Well, Arsenal, last shot on target, 64th minute. It's a hatchet job by Everton. It's the Arsenal and the Wolves match, which I will target for the late draw. I'm not going to touch Chesterfield or whoever they were. Awful side, Colchester. Goodness me. Odds on favourite with that record. Awful. So we're just looking, I think, for a late attack on those two Premier League matches, the late lay of the draws. Yeah, that would be it. And looks like Wolves are showing their best foot now, aren't they? Coming to the end. There we go. 79 attacking pressure index for Wolves. Do they sniff an important 3 points? One of these two sides must target the win. You'll be looking more at Wolves, won't you, for some late action there. 85th minute, 1.33 for the draw. It's getting nice and low. It is a relegation 6-pointer. And we've also got the hope that Arsenal will break through late on. Must win while Fulham are losing. So you're going to hope for some Fergie time for both matches. Getting nice and low now. The draw, 5 shots on, 10 off 7 corners. The second half has belonged to Wolverhampton Wanderers, coming back from a goal down. Do they have enough in them to get that important win? It's vital that they get the win. But either side will take the points, of course. Relegation 6-pointer. So we look on with interest. Getting to that stage of the match now where I quite like. Oh, 2-2. Lovely job. Well done, Huddersfield. Let's break off and have a look at what that has done. Well done, Huddersfield. Now we're getting nice and low odds for the draw for both the Premier League matches. There we go. That's looking a lot healthier for a £5.70 liability. Now you've got 115 if Huddersfield can dot the I's and cross the T's. Fantastic. Well done, Huddersfield. And if you want to dot the I's and cross the T's, just get rid of that, and you have yourself a trouble-free end of the match where you'll be a Terrier fan if they can get that 115 quid. That would be very nice indeed. There we go. That looks very nice. Can Huddersfield do it? Can Huddersfield do it? Or would you like the cash? Good stuff. So let's get involved with that relegation. Wow, Liverpool Fulham is 2-2. Not the one I wanted to score the goals in, but brilliant performance from Liverpool today. Arsenal must win. We're getting the draw now. You could do it 2 ways. You could start off with a £10 liability in total by starting at 1.25 or lower, or you could look to capture the very too late. Just about to pull the trigger at 1.25. Is that a Wolves goal? Because if it is, it's deserved by Wolves. No, it's not a Wolves goal. There's a Huddersfield. There's the Liverpool match. Superb performance from Liverpool. And this is something for you to take note of the next time Everton are away or at home. No penalty for Arsenal. Oh. Whoa, that could have been the late win, couldn't it? No luck with VAR, Arsenal, in the last 2 matches. Wolves look like they're really going for it. So you could start 1.14 to win a tenner, 1.09 to win 23 quid, 1.06 to win 32 quid. That would be very nice if we can get a late winner. Relegation 6-pointer, so well worth doing. Late in the draw, Wolves match later on. Relegation 6-pointer. Late in the draw, Arsenal too. Oh, that penalty. Oh dear. You can get involved very, very late now. So that'll be 32 quid at 106. Wow. I think that penalty was the chance to get the 3 points. How strange that Everton are doing Liverpool a massive favour today. Still as you were in the table. That win is vital, isn't it? 33, take them second. Chelsea have a very winnable game tomorrow. Manchester City, well, they're still in. They're on 15. Get a win, they're on 30, despite falling apart. Vital, vital, vital. Really going for it, Wolves. You can see that. You could even lay the draw here, but 1.36 looks like there's a lot of extra time. So we'll wait with interest. You want to lay that? Got a suspended market. Is that the end of the match? Is it a goal? End of the match or a goal? Probably end of match. Not seeing any red dots coming up. Exciting end. Everything to play for. A win could save your season. And looks like Everton are saving Liverpool. And now, £1.92 liability. That's what I'm after. Possibility now of Liverpool getting a late winner. Draw is, I was going to say quite high at 1.9, but it's 1.51 now. You wouldn't be discounting Liverpool from rubbing it in. And laying the draw is a neutral play, isn't it? It's a relegation 6-pointer. How about that? Ka-ching. There we go. Lovely jubbly. Superb stuff. I hope you got on. I've got to find the chat now. You laid over 4.5 goals. Okay, well, up to you how you play, Ashley. I'm not responsible for your losses if you don't follow my calls. And that's me done. I'm going to say good night to you now. Brilliant end of the match. Ka-ching. Fabulous stuff. Thanks very much for coming along. I won't be seeing you tomorrow because I've got my nephews visiting. Have a great day. And I hope you laid the late draws. Brilliant stuff. Neutral always pays, doesn't it? Fantastic. See you later. Thanks very much for coming along.